harsh words for the governor, grave concerns for crime victims.
That was the theme of a news conference at the Oneida County Sheriff's Office today. It was one of at least 10 statewide, calling on the governor and the state legislature to change those bail reform and discovery laws that take effect the first of the year. News Channel 2's Jolene Ferris live here in the studio with their concerns and the governor's response. Jolene, good evening.
Thank you, Kristen. Dozens of law enforcers today expressed their concern for laws they say could put victims in danger and let criminals go free. Sheriffs, police chiefs, district attorneys, and probation officers from around the state were at the Oneida County Sheriff's Department today, calling on the governor and state legislature to reconsider bail reform and new evidence-related laws they say show an abject lack of concern for victim safety, will tie their hands and increase crime.
We're going to allow the defendant to go back to the scene of a burglary or the scene of a rape or the scene of any other violent crime that takes place in somebody's home so that they can view the crime scene that they created. It defies logic. Victims need to have rights here too.
If a victim knows that, and they will know that because we're putting the word out there, that may deter them from even reporting the crime.
The new package of laws was wrapped up in and passed with the state budget. The district attorneys here say it'll be virtually impossible to comply with discovery demands, which will require them to get certain items of evidence to defense attorneys far more quickly than is humanly possible, causing many charges to be dropped. All those in this room say there is no upside to the new legislation, not if you're a victim. As much as it pains them, they say they have no choice but to comply.
If I were to hold someone in my custody here at the correctional facility that the law doesn't allow me to, then not only am I opening myself up to clear violation of the law, but I'm putting the county at risk, as far as liability goes.
Some were direct with their words aimed at the man responsible for the legislation they fear.
I'm calling the governor out. The governor continues to act like a dictator, and the governor's a coward. He claims to care about the citizens of the state of New York. Well, he's forgotten a large group of the citizens of the state of New York.
This statement from a senior advisor for the governor, quote, "There's unhinged ranting and bluster, and then there are actual facts." Republican Governor Chris Christie passed essentially the same bail reform laws years ago in New Jersey, and their state reports have shown that overall crime has decreased with no statistically significant changes regarding reoffenses or court appearances. And you might remember yesterday we reported that this would cause the Oneida County Sheriff to release up to 157 inmates by mid-December. After our story aired yesterday, they got calls from 8 concerned victims whose offenders are going to be released. And they wanted to know how they were going to be protected. And the sheriff said, I don't have an answer.
What would have to happen for any of this to change?
Well, they're calling on the governor, the state legislature, but we talked to Senator Griffo. We'll have that coming up at 6, and he's not too optimistic.
And that last statement from the governor's office is sounding a lot partisan. I mean, the push is coming from both sides, the pushback. You have the DA of the Oneida County, Scott McNamara, he's a Democrat. Rob Maciel's a Democrat. It sounds more like partisan instead of, this is really a policy issue. It's not a political one.
No, it is. And you mentioned New Jersey. I want to mention really quickly, Senator Griffo said it's comparing apples to oranges because their laws had certain fail-safes in place that ours don't.
Wow.
Jolene Ferris live tonight, pushing ahead on News Channel 2 at 6. Citizen Action of New York says reform will not be delayed, saying in part, quote, "For decades, mass criminalization and mass incarceration have been justified in the name of public safety, despite the fact that extensive research and real-life examples show us that less incarceration is what actually creates greater public safety." This quote goes on to say prosecutors and police are tasked with upholding the law, not undermining it, by spreading misinformation to the public and through fear-mongering in the press.